All hail Shadow, everyone. It's Deep Dive Zone, a Sonic review series for fans of all shapes and sizes. We're Team Shadow, consisting of Devin, Lauren, Bruce, Matt, and Sid, and this is our final normal episode of Shadow the Hedgehog, covering the true hero story, which we waited to do until now, because I think that it flows the best into the final story. But it's hero missions the whole
Yeah?
way down. Yeah, no,
Hell yeah.
we're so familiar with the start of this game. All the shit we already talked about, Westopolis, Lethal Highway, Black Bull, that's all the stuff we've already done before.
Game
It's
is
like,
padded, as you said.
this would be the point where I recommend
Hell
the
yeah.
reloaded mods that you don't have to play everything to get to the final ending, but then I have to add the asterisk that it makes Lethal Highway way harder, so...
That's already not a great, you know, what I mean? It's mostly just kind of like
Yeah.
running and gunning, trying to build up
Right.
your meters so you get infinite ammo. So,
You know, it was a bit of a flawed gem, Shadow the Hedgehog Reloaded. We ought to make a Shadow the Hedgehog Reloaded mod, I think.
Hell
Listen,
yeah.
I've seen some progress in modding. You know, people got a Shadow the Hedgehog randomizer working, and it is not limited to 6 stages before it sees the end, and it can even randomize the cutscenes. So theoretically, if you put all the blocks in a line, you could make the linear Shadow experience that I have dreamed of.
I guess.
But for right now, we're stuck in the circus.
Oh god, the circus.
Darn it. So the
Which is
stage the stage did teach me one thing, which was the reason that you don't lose all your rings when you're hit. This is the reason. This one mission.
Yeah, this stage is the reason. Actually, I funny I reacted the way I did. The stage actually wasn't that bad.
Yes, the hero mission for this level is, conceptually speaking, it makes you think it's going to be the most grueling in the game because you have to get 400 rings.
Yeah, and then you go through and it's like, oh, this actually ain't half bad. It's like, it's not great. You kind of just have to crawl through the stage.
I would say it is exactly half bad.
I don't know. I would say it is very
it's not hard,
it's very whelming.
Your biggest hazard is going to be you don't want to fucking fall off the stage, because if you die, you're resetting.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, pretty much.
I had to slow play the stage so hard.
Oh yeah, I crawled through this stage. Exactly, actually, yeah.
Every single thing and just brought out into an absolute crawl.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I did also.
Like, I just treated this game like it was in a completely different genre for this stage.
Yeah, it turned into a walking simulator.
Yeah, well, you know, it's good. You can hold the R button to, like, slow walk, so there you go.
You can?
Wait, that's a thing?
You didn't know that?
Thing.
Yeah,
it lets you strafe,
so holding it down makes it so that you slow walk, and you can't, it lets you strafe, so you can't, like, if you want to, like, very focus down, like, a hallway, right, and, like, gun down maybe some black arms, it'll let you do that. That being said, it doesn't help that much. Like, it helps a little bit now that, because you guys haven't known that the whole game.
It's pretty straightforward, because, I mean, the nice thing about this stage is that it definitely has way more than 400 possible rings to get, which, you know, of course this is the point where they finally decide to make that the case.
Imagine the contrary. That would be terrifying.
Yeah, well, because that would mean that you're not only doing a no-death run, you're also doing a no-hit run.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
well, you could get hit, but you have to pick up all your rings, no? Or you
have to get all
am I smooth brain?
I guess that's true.
Jesus.
Which I think I've talked about. I think back in the first episode, I might have, that it just kind of feels bad to try to pick up your rings. It's
it very much can, yeah.
Well, and that's the flip side, is that even though there are more than 400 rings, there's still a limited amount, which means that if you do get hit enough times, you can screw yourself and not even know it. That was what happened to me when I first played this game, was that I got a lot of rings, but by the time I had, you know, the maximum amount I could, I had gotten hit a couple times, and so I had exhausted the total amount of rings in the stage, even though I had like 320 something.
Oh, that hurts.
It's okay. I was, you know, I was 14. I have healed from it. I'm a different person now.
You've recovered.
As much as you can, at least.
Yeah, after playing a game like this, I hope we all recover someday. No, but I kind of hope. I don't think anyone will, but like, I think it'd be kind of funny if someone, like, after these, like, finally hit on YouTube, right? Like, it'd be kind of funny to see, like, someone do the math and be like, okay, you can lose, like, this many rings, meaning you could get hit this many times.
I mean, that's
and still beat the mission.
Easy,
you know what I mean? It's like, how many rings are there?
The stage has a ring count, so you just gotta check, subtract the mission from that. But the stage makes you paranoid.
No, it does.
But as long
does
as
mess
you,
with you though. Yeah.
as long as you play paranoid enough, it's not a super big ordeal. But yeah, so apparently that's the heroic thing to do, is taking all of Eggman's money. Actually, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So after this, we get a cutscene explaining that the Black Arms have been driven out of Westopolis and into Death Ruins, which is
some of these stage names.
It's like a giant ancient jungle, sort of. It has some of the Sonic Heroes thing where it feels more like a bunch of stuff floating a mile above a jungle than like it is a jungle.
Yeah, kind of.
Also, why was the Black Arms driven out of the city determined by Shadow stealing rings from Eggman? This cutscene doesn't happen in the neutral
Okay,
filter.
a lot of the way these plot points link up doesn't make sense. So, yes,
yeah,
you're right. Although, let me think about this. It could have been an inadvertent thing, because, Eggman goes in blasting. He probably blasts gun, too. And so he actually helped the Black Arms. That's it. That's the only explanation I can think of, anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, it removed one distraction that they could focus on the arms. Fair enough. So Death Ruins, I actually kind of like the aesthetic of it. It has the same thing with Lethal Highway, where I like the giant red Black Arms growths on everything. It makes it look like the world is infected.
Oh yeah. I
that
love
is
that
interesting.
bit about a lot of stages. Like, they didn't go into it as much as I would have liked, honestly. But yeah, I mean, Alien Invasion, aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is another fucking enemy scavenger hunt for the hero mission.
Yeah, that was annoying. Especially because I think I did the thing Sid did in whatever stage it was, by accidentally going through the goal ring.
Oh, you went too far. Oh.
Yeah, I went too far.
So
there's a ring, there's a trail of rings, and that goes to the goal ring.
Oh,
I accidentally used the light speed patch right into it.
Man. And it sucks because that's such a fun way to end the mission too. Normally,
it would be.
You're like, wait, no.
It would be a really cool way to end it, but.
Yeah, and this stage, Westopolis is a comparatively very flat stage, which means that if you're searching, it's there's a limited number of places. This stage has a lot of verticality to it, and that means that if you're doing the neutral mission, I actually think this is a pretty cool level. Although it weirdly shares a bunch of stuff with like Prison Island. I don't know why that's the stage that gets mooched and leashed off of, but the problem for me is that, like, especially during like the big grind rail section where you go all the way down one of the trees and into the ruins, there are just points where you have to jump off to the side to hit Black Arms, and it feels really easy to die when you're trying to do that.
It does feel really easy to die. They put like beetles throughout the area as you're grinding down, and sometimes they can line up just right with your grind path, and you bump into them and die instantly because you so that's fun. But counterpoint, there is point where you jump off and kill Black Arms, because there is when you start it right, you can jump off into the right, and they kind of tease it right because they have like a little bubble item that you could pick up that's neat, and there's some like gun members, right? But there isn't actually any Black Arms members down there. The only one that they have is when you're really close to the end and you jump off to the left. That being said, every time I tried doing that jump, I felt like I was going to die instantly. I never did, but it never felt good, though.
Unless I've memorized the stage with it, which I haven't, I don't know that there's not a Black Arms there. If I see soldiers, I'm like, well, they must be fighting something. They're not, but...
Exactly.
Exactly.
It goes back to like the first time run, because first time run, I totally jumped where those gun guys were because it's instinctive. You even pointed it out, where if there's gun members, surely they're fighting people, which fortunately isn't always the case.
Oftentimes it isn't the case.
Cool. It's like, why am I here?
This level I actually had a really easy first time experience with.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how, but like killing all the enemies, it didn't end up bothering me. I never had to backtrack in this level. It just all went smoothly somehow.
I will say that this level, it does not actually hide any of them. So that is the flip side, is that even though I couldn't see
not really
whether there were any there, every enemy that you do need to get, you can usually see. I didn't have to backtrack either.
I feel bad. I don't want to like keep being like, well, actually, but it's like you're like mostly right. They don't hide them very much. But do you guys remember like they do it twice, right? Where they like you can't go over like the metal fenced bars, and they want you to either like hop on like a bounce pad or something, or like platform through like on a box, or yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Or you have to take like the weird alien trails through the walls.
Yeah, you have to slide on the slime trails.
You slide through it, and it takes you like above and a bit forward. And the weird thing with it, right, is that if you do it like that and you just keep going forward, they want you to triangle jump there. You could honestly just jump off and move forward and like grab up like a little like a ring pulley, right, and it'll take you there too. What you won't realize though, if you're not careful, is that they had enemies that they spawn in behind you, like if you had just normally walked through that path. And I feel like that's the one spot that they like really tried to hide them.
I know it. Yeah, I know, Devin. What Matt's talking about.
Yeah, and I thought about it. Like when I went there, I was like, well, wait a minute. It's like, well, that'd be kind of weird if they just didn't put any enemies here. There's 50 that I have to kill. I mean, how long does this level gotta be? Which, answer that question, not that very long.
Not particularly.
But yeah, it's like, you know, it's just kind of a weird thing. It's like, why would they do that? It's like, do they want me to have to backtrack and do the level again? Because I don't want to have to do that. That doesn't sound very fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, I stand corrected.
It wasn't really an issue, though.
I just wish in general that I could enjoy going fast without having to stop and check if I'm doing my chores along the way.
Yeah.
I mean, this just isn't the game for that.
No, it's not.
It really isn't.
Camera thing. It is kind of interesting that it seems like, just from what Rouge was talking at the start, it seems like they're the Black Arms are definitely on the back foot, right? It's like, you know, they've been getting a lot of pushback from Earth, you know.
Yeah, Dun's actually doing their fucking job.
They've been getting criticized on Twitter.
They're competent. They're actually fighting back.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not the only one who noticed that, as I thought it was interesting. If you bump into Black Doom and hear his dialogue, normally Black Doom is like, kill all the humans. Yes, it's glorious. But this time he's like, no time to engage the humans, Shadow. We have to evacuate, which I think that's like the only mission he's talking like that. So
that is kind of funny that he's like, shit, we gotta get out of here, man.
Well, and that's what I love after this level.
Yeah.
Because when you finish this stage, there's a cutscene where Shadow goes up to Black Doom and he's like, having some trouble with those gun soldiers, are we? He's like taunting him.
And then Doom's Eye's like, oh yeah, great job, Shadow. You're doing well, which... Okay.
Yeah,
this is what
I really wanted the whole time. Way to spin it.
He gets more annoyed at us for disobeying him on the neutral playthrough than the pure hero playthrough. He's like he's so certain that Shadow will eventually
ignorant. He just doesn't realize.
He's in denial.
You know, there's some reason. There's some reason for that, but it is weird that sometimes they get angry.
Yeah.
Once again, we do get more hints because Shadow's like, you won't be able to wipe out the humans, and they're like, of course, I don't want to wipe out the humans. On the contrary. And then Rouge like gasps to interrupt them, and then they stop talking.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I remember that because Rouge is like peeking in the distance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think I must have forgotten that because that is a pretty big revelation, right? Of like, oh wow, it's like, wait a minute, it's like, isn't that why we're here? But I think I completely missed out on it.
It's an interesting
hint.
Good
catch.
And speaking of hints,
I can't
last
talk
time
about more later though.
We were hinting at something from this playthrough, which is that we have to fight the same boss twice in one playthrough.
What are you talking about? We didn't talk about Lethal Highway much at all, which means we never played it, right, guys? No.
Like, okay,
right.
Technically,
Clearly,
you can fight the Eggbreaker
like...
twice in one playthrough, but not in any of the ones you explicitly have to do. So this is it's just dumb.
True.
Because it's like, this is
it's just lazy for this one.
That is really stupid.
You have to do Lethal Highway. Can't you skip it?
I guess
go a different route.
I guess you could do. Yeah, you could go really like ass backwards and skip it.
I guess technically,
but this is still the expected route for this ending.
You could go all the way to Sky Troops before you had to start doing hero missions.
Yeah, but this is still the route they'd expect you to take for this ending.
Yeah, it's definitely.
This is the most normal vanilla route, so there should not be a repeat on it.
Right.
Well, and it's funny.
Troops, you will not be able to do death runs.
And it's funny because Shadow's not even required to fight Black Bull. He's just there, and after Black Doom fucks off, Shadow's like, I'm taking you down. He just decides to do it.
Shadow's just really, like, he just wants to get rid of Black Bull once and for all.
You know what? That's actually... Remember all the way back at, like, when you finish Westopolis and you're going to Lethal Highway, and, like, Sonic's like, hell yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
So hype.
That's very reminiscent of that, of, like, you know, because Sonic, he's a good guy. He's coded that way. You're supposed to think that he's a good person,
right.
A hero, right? And it's almost like Shadow... a little bit, you know what I mean? He's like, hell yeah, let's fight this bad guy. Let's go. Because normally Shadow's like, my past.
Yeah, so what you're saying is like Sonic's rubbing off on Shadow.
A little bit, you know, it's like a little bit of that hero's charm.
I can see that.
Because normally he's like, get out of my way, you know. And it's
he's spent enough time with Sonic that he's like, yeah, I want to help and fucking I'm gonna kill the bad guys.
That's what good guys do.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anakin Skywalker moments. The hilarious thing about all of this is that despite it's being, you know, you're fighting Black Bull again, if they had changed the name and given it a new model, I don't think it really would have even been that big a deal, because this fight is really different, all things considered.
A little bit. You just
a little bit.
It doesn't move. You jump up to grind on a rail to shoot it, and you can take it down in like 30 seconds, which doesn't happen with the other one.
That's true.
In the other version, right, technically you could kind of farm the few enemies with guns that they have.
Right.
But you'd have to, like, you have to loop around and do some weird stuff, because, like, the respawning enemies in that stage is a bit funky. But, like, in here, right, you could unironically, like, farm, like, the 2 Black Arms goons that they have there, like, without even trying.
And get infinite ammo.
Infinite ammo and hero meter, which thus gives you infinite, like, it slows down time, which gives you, you know, infinite ammo too to just gun down the boss.
Yeah.
I don't know if I liked the boss overall, but, like, it's kind of neat. It is different. It's an
interesting it's an interesting change. I don't know if it's a good change.
I think it's a good change because it makes it short.
I guess that's fair enough. It makes it shorter.
Times at the end. I think they ended about the same for me. They're both like, they're just there.
So after this, we get the cutscene from the neutral hero playthrough again with "We're on our way to the Ark." I don't think there's anything different about this part of it.
Not that part of it, no.
But the next part is definitely different. This time, something totally different happens on their way to the Ark, which is truly, truly hilarious. Shadow is, for whatever reason, completely alone inside the ship. I don't know what happened to Sonic and Tails. Maybe there's another room in the back? But instead of them looking at the Ark and Shadow thinking about things, Shadow turns around and notices that their ship is powered by the Cyan Chaos Emerald. I don't know how that works exactly. We've collected that thing 3 times.
Don't worry about it.
So, the Chaos Emeralds, just in general, I have no idea how they're jumping around in the different routes. It makes no sense. I didn't bring it up because it's just so mind-boggling. So,
well, it's
yes,
so
that's not a problem just
gameplay-oriented
here.
in the stages, but here it's in the cutscenes. So it's like, what? But that is completely eclipsed by the next moment, which is where Shadow says, "This is like taking candy from a baby, which is fine by me."
Which is fine by me. God, that is such an incredible line.
I mean, that's peak Shadow.
That is peak Shadow.
Oh, this is what Shadow is all about.
True hero playthrough.
I love that that's in the true hero playthrough. That really, really helps.
Well, because it's just establishing, like, no matter how heroic Shadow becomes, he's still Shadow at the end of the day.
He is still a bastard.
Yeah.
It's
You know what's even better too?
It's wonderful.
Right? He then, like, smashes the glass, and that right there, I got absolutely derailed, and I died instantly, you know, because he breaks the glass, tries, you know, grabs the Chaos Emerald, and I'm just dying laughing over here because this is the same like stock like vase break sound effect. This is like the Wilhelm scream of like break noises, and they just use it for taking candy from a baby and just like.
And I love
it derailed me so much. Yeah, it derailed me so much that I know Bruce is a Trek fan, a Star Trek fan, right? Yeah. I recognized instantly, right, that this is also the same noise for the Curl and Nice Ghost. Which is
I love that you recognize that and I didn't.
Is that the thing where Picard breaks like the alien artifact or whatever it is?
Yeah. They're like,
he picks it up.
It's a whole thing where
off the ground. They're like cleaning up the Enterprise or something, and he picks it up off the ground, and he just puts it down and it cracks.
Off screen, it just shatters.
Amazing.
I love the way you explained to me that this was actually a fucking just a free to use sound effect was through Star Trek. It's the only way to explain things to me.
Amazing.
So what I could never have known when we were recording this episode is why Matt recognized the Star Trek bit and Bruce didn't, despite him being the biggest Trekkie of us all. While Picard's treatment of the priceless artifact was a meme from the beginning, the stock sound effect of him breaking the Curl and Ice Ghost is in fact an addition to the scene from a popular Mr. Plinkett bit, which is how I vaguely knew what it was without having seen the show. Oops.
No, but it's so funny. It's already a funny cutscene because it's such a funny line.
Well, because it's a hilarious line, and it's Shadow smashing the power source to a spaceship that he's personally riding in.
Yeah. So this was the point where, I realized for being true hero, Shadow's still being a massive prick in this playthrough.
So here is the thing. This was the last puzzle piece. And I understood that Shadow does not change in any of these playthroughs.
He really doesn't.
He's always hyper-fixated on the Chaos Emeralds. And he's just, he's Shadow, so he'll say...
Yeah, Lord, he's all of him.
And he won't care about the consequences of his actions. He's just having a grand old time, doing whatever the heck he feels like, no matter what.
It really feels like he's only aligning himself with various people because he feels like they can help him with his goal.
It's literally the case. He's no more heroic here than he is in any playthrough.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why many of the playthroughs he'll do like a hero thing, and then he'll immediately turn around and the game's like, no, he's still evil. Because
it is fascinating.
It hasn't changed. He hasn't changed at all.
I mean, to be fair, there's no consequences for him taking the emerald. Have you seen how often people survive crashes in this game?
Well,
that is true.
We'll see how that goes. But yes, you are correct. It's funny. It's very interesting, actually.
Well, because he does all that, and we have another flashback level here. But the flashback before was triggered by Black Doom, and the other version of this cutscene where they go to Space Gadget is triggered by Shadow seeing the Ark. Both reasonable things to trigger a flashback to the Ark. Here, Shadow has a flashback triggered by alarms going off.
Oh no, man! It's like a PTSD attack.
I guess
the Ark experience is very traumatic for him, especially after the stages.
Loud noises are scary, Devin.
I feel like I have to mention it. Lauren mentioned real quick though that like overall in the story that like Shadow doesn't really change, and then Bruce I think interjected that Shadow just uses everyone right to get what he wants, right? And I just had like the epiphany. I have to say it right. It's like, well, wait a minute. Isn't that what Black Doom does? And don't we get that drop earlier in the neutral good path? Remember, because we were talking about the gun commander, right?
He was right. Or he was right the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Like, and that's what kills me is that like that's such a oh my gosh, Lauren! It's like how could you?
Dumbass.
Like father, like son.
It's like that makes too much sense.
Jesus Christ.
I'm glad I got that out because it's like that's such a big deal. That's like one of the biggest revelations I've had really with the story.
This is the best cutscene in the game.
It really is.
Honestly, 10 out of 10 A rank. You guys get a round of applause.
You
guys did awesome.
Honestly, maybe like just the best cutscene of its era. Like honestly, it has everything.
I don't know about that because
it has taking candy from babies. That's always good.
Yep.
It's a pretty good scene. I must say, in playing through Shadow, I shouldn't jump the gun too much, but this game has changed the way I see Shadow.
Yeah, no
Really?
kidding. So,
I think that's part of the problem with the game, Lauren.
I think we could talk about that more later, though. But for now, though.
Yeah,
think
we have another lovely stage for us.
Yeah, we have the best cutscene in the game, and so that mood eventually needs to come back down. Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs, to Lost Impact, an infamous stage in this game. For one specific reason. It's well, okay, multiple reasons. It's another flashback level. It's all the same assets as the Doom, so it is another Arc flashback maze, except we have to do the hero mission this time around, and it is bad.
Yeah,
it is.
It's already got a lot against. Well, it's already got a lot against it because it's basically reusing the Doom, and the Doom is not a great stage. So it's already got that against it. Like if it was somehow able to like go above and beyond past that, well, despite using the Doom's level design, that would have been amazing. You know what I mean? But that's not the game that we got. It's so bad.
No, instead our flashback here is not to any specific points in the arc. It's just a random incident that I guess happened. Wherein Gerald.
I disagree, actually.
Oh, okay.
Based on the ending, to me, it kind of seemed like, because Shadow gets sent away after this, I thought that like the Chaos is rampage, and then they went immediately into shutdown mode afterwards, because it jumps to Shadow being sent away. I mean, maybe it doesn't work, but that was
it's possible.
Because like, this has gotten way too out of control. We have to shut it down right now.
I just meant that it's not set during.
Fair enough.
It's like they should have.
The soldiers were already there.
Because you get that cutscene at the start of the game, right? For a snippet of like you and Maria running away from the soldiers, right? And the pointing at you. Just play that again. Play that bit again. That makes so much sense. Or
another
that, like,
thing
you would have hunting them down. Yeah.
Maria uncharacteristically is like, "Oh, Shadow, we gotta kill all the artificial chaos." Very, very obviously, this is not what actually happened, because again, these flashback levels, you can play them in different ways. And so I'm pretty sure the canon truth is that Shadow was caught in the crossfire, that they were like, oh, look, it's another one of the experiments. At least that's the way I interpret it.
That makes sense, and Maria's would probably be more like, Shadow, we just have to get the hell out of here.
Right.
Yeah. It's possible. I didn't think it was set during the raid, but it's possible that it was. Either way, yes, the mission here is that there's, 35 or 40?
35, I think.
Artificial chaos that are out and about on a rampage for some reason. I guess they're just naturally hostile? Like, I thought in SA2 they were just kind of...
copied... What do you mean? In SA2, they're out for blood, and they'll hit you from halfway across the map.
What
are you
the arc
talking
is
about?
abandoned. I didn't think that they were just like that when Gerald made them. Why would you not just throw these things in the garbage?
Well, they were meant to be like
bioweapons. Gerald's just built different. He's built different. He's a little
Gerald is a maniac.
That's fucking true.
No, well, I thought he like accidentally copied the negative energy of chaos or some stupid stuff like that. You know how it is.
Fair. But yes, so not only are these things tanky, not only is there 35 of them, not only can they fly, which means that you sometimes won't be able to see one when it's higher up than you, but they also split apart when attacked, which means that you can never be quite sure you've killed one unless you look closely for the health bar. This stage is a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have another entry into the story of things I didn't struggle with all that much that everyone else did.
Bruce, this stage took me 26 fucking minutes. Do not tell me.
No. I will tell you this. It probably still took me like 15 or 20 minutes, but I didn't have to loop through the stage at all.
Wow, that's actually really
impressive. I was in the call.
I did not. Matt was there in the call. And we were talking about it, and my consensus on the stage was it was
like
boring.
It's not even whelming; it's underwhelming.
Yeah, it's kind of it's very whelming, like not or overwhelming. It was just
really?
It was just a stage. That's how I feel about it.
Because you were just so bored.
Yeah, well, I guess that's the thing. It was definitely boring.
I wish I found the stage boring.
I was in Central City. Yeah.
Yeah, you were in Central City.
Basically raging. I was raging because I like it now, but I was having a bad time.
Yeah, and I was
and like you're just sitting here. Man, this level kind of fucking sucks.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here like staring at my screen, barely talking, because I'm just like, this is boring as sin.
I always miss.
Hey, just shoot the gun.
Like, I always miss an artificial chaos in this stage, specifically because of the gun platforms, these moving turret platforms, because you can
it's so hard to kill them in time with the,
but you can't reverse, because your turning is still really slow. You can easily miss one on those.
Yeah,
I mean, with it, which is it isn't a great one because I've had to replay this stage quite a bit of times because the A rank for this level is horrible. It made me it didn't make me cry, but it tested my patience and will because
it tested your willingness to not cry.
The first time I played this stage, I didn't realize that you could accelerate the track, so I was just slowly moving, and it took so long. I beat the level and was like, oh my god, this level's horrible. It's like, no, I have to do an A rank later. It's like, I'm gonna hate my life so much.
Jesus Christ.
But like, if you're actually trying to do it in a reasonable pace, because, the excuse, right, of like, oh, well, if you don't go fast, it's really easy to hit them. I don't think any of you guys want to be in the stage longer than you have to. You want to be done with this.
Oh,
so
sure,
go fast.
Yeah.
You're gonna hold down the button. And I've had it happen too, where you you're right before you're about to enter like another like an exit room, if you will, right? And they put like a artificial chaos like right before it, and like you won't kill it in time. You like bump into it and it'll squeeze past you. And like if you're fast enough, maybe you could hop off and it'll pause the cart. And maybe if you have a gun with you, you can take it out. Maybe, which is still not great because they're tanky and like I don't know. I had a grenade launcher most of the times. And we haven't talked about the guns too much, but the grenade launcher kind of sucks.
Yeah, it kind of does.
So if it kind of feels bad, I mean, if you can land a hit, it can sometimes it kills it okay, but sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, I actually found the grenade launcher to be the easiest way to play the level. Like by far.
Flip-floppy. Because sometimes you do there's a part later in the stage where you're like gun members with the grenade launchers fighting, and I swear, like there's like something wrong with that one. Like I feel like he's bugged, but it's probably just me because I unload into him. Like I'm
that one is really, really
time
hard to
kind of aim it.
I think
I think I had a bit more problem with that one.
It's so dumb. But besides that, right? Like you have the one where like you're on the track and you barely miss it, right? You can get off and kind of shoot at it, but if you don't though, what's the alternative? If you're lucky, maybe you could backwards, like you can, because you can't reverse the cart. Yeah. You can get off, physically walk and open it, but it's not great. That's not a good option. And if you have the grenade launcher, good luck hitting them, because if you're at that point where it's like above you and like you're on like the lower rung where you really shouldn't be walking, you can't aim it up. You can't really jump high enough, right? Like there's really no easy way to get them. You'd have to like go and find an SMG or like a rifle. Not great. Not great.
Yeah. And yeah, it goes without saying. There's exactly 35 of them in the level. There's no wiggle room.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if you miss one at the start, you're gonna be mad.
Yeah, I will say the artificial chaos seemed to have undergone a design change because A, their eyes were green before, now they're red, and B, they have this blood texture on the back of their head. What's up with that?
Don't worry about it.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't have that.
I noticed that.
I have no idea why.
On killing them
because like they're robots. They're made out of metal.
Don't worry about it.
Are they robots? Really?
Yeah,
the head is.
The head is. The rest of it is like water.
Yeah, I assumed it was like that's what's controlling. I thought they were like the body.
I always thought they were like cyborgs, and so like there was a brain or something in there.
So that does bring up a question. Like, is chaos considered like? I guess it would be a biological.
Well, because chaos also has bits of metal in it.
Well, I always figured that deal. I thought that came from Eggman.
No, chaos has bits inside it, but they're not metal. It's bone.
Wait, what?
Okay. If you say so, is there something that says that definitively?
I mean, I know it doesn't come from Eggman. Well, it comes from the Chaos Emerald. So maybe it's not. It looks like bone to me. I don't know.
I always thought it was bone.
I thought it was like robot bits Eggman threw on.
But in any case,
Weird.
I don't know. It's like I don't know what biological component would exist within the artificial chaos. Maybe it's a brain. I assume that the headpiece was like a computer, you know?
I guess counter to it, we know that Gerald is a lunatic, so he totally would have it be bone. If
Yeah,
it was
I'm not
his
saying
way.
he wouldn't do it. He would.
Like-
He would make something fucked up.
That's the headcanon for that.
But it's
But
like
like
in SA2,
an actual
they just drop
like
chaos
definitive,
drives,
it's like
so
I don't know.
they're
they wouldn't drop
disemboweling
Well,
fragments of their
animals.
brains.
Well, don't they? These ones explode, right?
So there's
do they
chaos
not
in SA1, and he's a life form. He's mutated by the Master Emerald, but he has a brain and what I assume are bones when he transforms. Artificial chaos in SA2, they do not have bones. They look the same as these ones. The difference is that they don't have the blood texture on the back.
True.
But they
Okay,
still
okay.
explode, and they still have metal on them.
I guess it comes down was like original chaos, like, but
Okay, so another correction here. I was looking for a good image of the Shadow artificial chaos compared to SA2, and I found this little video speculating on their nature in this game by Dream Syntax, who you might know as the modder who created the Reloaded mod you've been seeing footage of for the entire playthrough. That informed me that Black Doom has a line in the Arc stage where he says the artificial chaos are being controlled by him, which suggests to me that the experiments involved Black Arm's DNA the same way Shadow did. This would explain why they turn red and bloody when they attack, and mean that Lost Impact is explained by Doom intentionally encouraging them to attack via the mind control he has over all the other aliens. This makes sense, although if Lauren is correct about Lost Impact taking place during Gun's raid, or starting Gun's raid, that would mean that yet another thing has been retconned to secretly have been Black Doom's fault all along. Get a grip, Gerald.
I think I had one other thing I wanted to mention. Well, you get to the end of the stage, and they have like a weird loop-de-loop, and part of it takes you outside into actual space instead of just like inside the ship. And it's really annoying because there's no, for the first part of it, because there's two parts at the end where you're outside. First part is just a bunch of asteroids. Second part, they put the last two artificial chaos and some platforms out in the open that like, why are they there? Like, I don't think there's a key there. Maybe there's a key. I wouldn't know. I didn't go get them all.
I
But,
think there's a way to
it's
get there
weird
if you
because
stop halfway.
yeah, it's like I don't know why you'd want to though. You know what I mean? It just seems
No, I
kind of
never
weird.
do that.
I guess props for like, oh, you can tackle a bit of a level in multiple different ways, but like I don't know, that one seems like objectively worse than just like riding the cart.
Well, and
But
that is
really
the
does.
other
the
thing.
main thing
Those...
that bugged me was the asteroid part. Like actively sucks. Like I hate that part so much because the first time going through it, I couldn't get them. I couldn't understand how you were supposed to take out the asteroids. So I was getting stun locked at that last little bit. And for already a level that just takes really long, it just made it even worse. And now I know that you can kind of just like waggle the stick and you just like open fire and just try to take out as many of them as you can. Or I guess you could also have your hero bar if you filled it up all the way. But for trying to get A rank on this stage, which is already horrible, shooting asteroids is a bad thing and builds up bad points. And that makes me really upset.
Well, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Sonic
I don't think
gained
it does,
Dark Meter when he
because-
stopped the colony from falling on Earth in SA2.
Because that's what I'm trying to wrap my head around, right? It's like, well, hold on. If an asteroid like that were to come towards Earth, right, it'd be a catastrophic thing, probably. I mean, I guess there's the whole thing, right, of like, oh, it would get like eaten up and kind of broken down by the atmosphere, right? But
not enough for it to not be a problem, though.
But one would argue if you were to shoot it and break it with something that powerful, the little chunks or whatnot, right? They're going to be so small that even if they were going to like go towards the gun ship itself, they're going to be so small that it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. They probably have defense mechanisms for that type of thing because they're in space. If it went towards Earth, they'd be even smaller and would get eaten up even more by the atmosphere. So it's like, why am I getting bad points? They do this in stuff like Glyphic Canyon, right? You get bad points for that. What's wrong with shooting the rubble? It's like, what, is Knuckles upset that this is like ancient archaeology and like an ancient civilization? Like, well, I guess he doesn't know that yet. You know, I mean, you find out later. And like,
I like the implication here that your good and bad acts are being judged by the partner characters, though. That's funny.
Right? And that's even funnier.
Maria
why does Maria care?
Shadow,
you have to preserve the life of these fucking rocks.
It made me so mad. This was already one of my least favorite stages in the whole game, and that just made it just a little bit worse.
Yeah, the stage jump scares you at one point in between the gun lift parts with the artificial chaos.
I am. SA2 has already really made me jumpy of artificial chaos.
That's one difference, is that in this game they don't hit you through doors.
Thank goodness. That's one improvement.
Oof.
All right, you got one. Let's see if you can get on a streak, Sonic Team. No.
Oh, I forgot. The music. It's just like Gun Fortress, and that it's just weird. It's like, wait a minute, why is it so somber and funky? It's not a low-key level. Yeah. But I'm done. I can't talk about this level anymore. I'm gonna like
misty flashback territory. That's why. I assumed it was.
I see.
There we go. Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Yeah. So our flashback ends with a repeat of Maria's death. So I guess that's why we can say that that it might be at least near the raid.
What I thought it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we have that. We've seen Maria die like 4 times at this point. It's fine. But after that, we just suddenly cut to Shadow and Sonic running in the Ark. So it's like, how did we get here from the ship when the ship was crashing?
Don't worry about it. And also, why was Shadow going through all of that while he was just running along with Sonic?
Well, yeah, he goes into PTSD and his body goes on autopilot, I guess.
I imagine Sonic trying to talk to Shadow and Shadow, just gets nothing out of him.
Are you okay? I'm fine, Maria.
Jeez.
Sonic would have noticed. Honestly, like, with how we see the other characters act when Shadow's going through shit, I don't think Sonic would have noticed anything was happening with Shadow. Sonic would just kept on talking to himself.
Yeah, Sonic would just keep talking to Shadow and get no response, and he just wouldn't care.
Shadow's mental health crisis is not going well, yeah.
Fucking true.
He's not getting the support he needs.
He at least needs a goddamn hug.
So,
yeah.
This cutscene is another one of those they had no idea how to plan this moments, because, they don't talk about the ship crashing, that's whatever. But the other thing is that we're running here on the Ark, and the Ark no longer matters. They just realize that everything's going down in the Black Comet, and are like, oh, we were wasting our time here, we better go there instead.
Yeah?
We ran out of stages, oops.
Well, and that's one of the things, is that if you put the flashback levels together, and then had this lead into Space Gadget and Cosmic Fall, and then they decide to go to the Black Comet, that's like the linear playthrough that kind of makes sense. Not that I want to play Cosmic Fall again.
I mean, it makes enough sense.
Counterpoint: if you put the 2 flashback stages and then those, it would make for like one of the most cursed runs ever.
It would be
like,
horrible.
No, I don't want to do Lost Impact and then the Doom and then no, don't make me, please.
I'm not defending what the game would look like. I'm just saying that you can tell where the edges were cut off.
For story cohesion, though,
because not only do we not know how they got on the Ark, we don't know how they get off the Ark. I guess they just had Shadow put the emerald back and it was fine, but it means that we go to the Black Comet for our final level, and we land at a different part of it, I suppose.
Yeah, because it's mostly different than what we've seen before, which is a nice touch, because it'd be really lame if it was exactly the same as Black Comet.
We went from Final Egg to Final Rush and Final Chase to Final Fortress, and now we arrive at the last normal level of the game that I know would have been the last act, because it's called Final Haunt. It's a naming scheme.
I guess.
Yeah.
I wish it was also part of a scheme where it was all good levels, but I like the music, and I like our alien aesthetics, and it's certainly more navigation than the alien hoverboards, but that does not mean that I think it's a good level.
Well, it very much is not a good level.
I think I liked it better than Black Comet, but that's not by much.
I mean,
I liked Black Comet more, but I still liked this level more than a lot of the game.
Okay.
That's fair.
By the game standards, I had a pretty good time with
You really liked
level.
Black Comet.
I really liked Black Comet and Final Hunt. By the game standards, I liked it. By general Sonic standards, no. By general gaming standards, absolutely not. But by Shadow the Hedgehog standards, I liked it.
By Shadow the Hedgehog standards, this was fucking awesome.
Well, I do like the atmosphere on display here, because it really feels like a hell yeah, time to make those alien bastards pay moment.
Actually, I say by Shadow
the standards,
this
especially...
is awesome. I don't think it was. I still hate... this stage was still dog shit.
I was going to say, to further your point, Devin, it's really funny. I'm pretty sure it's at the start of the stage. I don't think it's in the cutscene. But you're with Sonic and you're like, hey, Shadow, we've reached the climax of our little game. And
yes.
It's
yes, he literally said
I just laughed. It's so funny.
It
well, I took it as
like
a
Sonic.
meta thing. It was like a meta game thing, and in the game, in the story, it was like, okay, that's kind of funny. But, and you know what? Some of us gave Gun Fortress shit for trying out new things, like, oh, because it's so late in the level. But they do the same thing with Final Hunt. They do some weird, like, suck gun box platforming bits.
Yeah.
You have to, like...
Yeah, and I
they
hated
introduce,
it.
like, the suck gun. Well, yeah, I mean, it's not my favorite, but, like, they do...
Well,
it's weird. They try new things again.
That was one of the biggest reasons why I did not like Final Hunt.
The stage.
Yeah, I was not a fan of the suck gun.
Pull platforms out of the walls with a vacuum gun.
Yeah, and the game doesn't make that clear enough, so I didn't even bother grabbing a fucking suck gun. So I'm like, what the fuck do I do with this? I think Devin had to explain to me what to do with it.
Well, no matter what you do...
That is fair. I don't think they ever tell you.
You're going to be having to flip-flop between weapons, because the vacuum gun, it only works on small enemies and objects, which means for this level that's full of bigger enemies, you're going to have to swap to something else. But since also for traversal, you're going to need to swap back and forth, which I hate.
This level has so many fun, cool weapons, and the fact that you're forced to drop them for the suck gun.
Yeah, isn't that
laser
fun?
weapons that bounce off the walls, and they're great.
Yeah, that's cool.
The hammer in this level is my favorite weapon in the game, apparently.
And it only shows up really on this stage, really. I mean, there's another, like, I think, like, the final story one lets you do it, but, like...
And I have to drop it all the time for the fucking suck gun.
No,
isn't it great?
It's rough. If you had, like, chaos control, or, like, the being able to, like, warp around, maybe you would still be able to use the hammer and go past.
Well,
but,
so
like,
I tried that. I chaos controlled the shit out of this level, and I still had to drop it for the suck gun sometimes.
So I think I also, now that I think about it, that's I think also why I didn't realize I need to use the suck gun, because I think the game tells you the first time to use the suck gun.
Yeah, to just chaos control past it.
Yeah, I chaos control
just terrible design.
And I
terrible fucking design.
For that, and Sonic never fucking told me. And
the fact that this game is like, hey, just skip past this part. Like, what the fuck?
It should have been every time it was relevant. Sonic needs to tell you. It would have been kind of annoying. He's like,
it would have been annoying,
me,
but I would have accepted it.
I can't
that's
even
the
get
reason
along
right
with that,
there, because if someone goes through,
I just don't think it's an interesting mechanic in general.
No, it isn't.
It's not.
I think that this is just, there was no platform here, and then you put one there by doing one specific thing. Like there's no particular game
if they wanted that, a
this.
Switch would have been way more effective.
Yeah, or nothing. Just have it already out. What difference does it make?
Well, yeah, that way you could just fucking book it. It still would have been annoying, but I would have been able to put up with it.
Because it goes back to, like, oh, I want to go fast, and now I have to stop. But it's like,
it would have at least been part of the established
but it would have been rough.
Of the game.
Yeah.
I think that's the big thing, is that's the last thing I was expecting out of this game. Like, I know they did some wacky stuff with this game, but, like, weird kind of physics stuff with a suck gun? Yeah. That was just like, it's like, okay, this is where the game's at now. It's like, sure, why not?
It's not like there's that much else in terms of traversal that's super interesting about this stage. I know there's, like, weirdness with, like, oh, we have to get to the center to find Black Doom, and there's, like, green holograms of it, and you run into one and it disappears.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh,
it's
it was
so
a
funny
fake.
looking.
Yeah, gee, I wonder why.
I wrote that down specifically, the green hollow Black Doom, because it's so weird. It doesn't fit.
Yeah, is that supposed to fool us? Man. I don't know.
Sonic at one point is like, that must be a decoy, but that's the only thing we've got going for it, or it's like the only thing we've got to go off of, so we gotta follow it. And it's like, that's a bad reason, Sonic.
Yeah, Sonic, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, bud.
It is a very Sonic thing to do, though, to just run in and not really care about thinking.
Yeah, it's not the worst of the final levels. That's probably still Cosmic Fall.
Yeah.
So, yes.
I feel like that's no contest.
Sonic and Shadow are teamed up to reach the center of the comic. They're going to fight Black Doom. And they clearly wanted players to experiment, and we have all these what-if endings. And I've heard some people say that they think they're interesting. I disagree. At the end of the day, Sonic is a series of pretty simple morality, and this feels much more like the real ending.
Mm-hmm.
That's rough. I don't know.
As I said, going into this game, I was like, what is going on? But after having played all the routes, yeah, some of them are like, what the heck? But I don't know. A lot of them I don't find that implausible. Like, sure, you're like, oh, this is obviously the true ending. Yeah, because it's 99% of the time the heroes win unambiguously, bada bing, bada boom, in the Sonic series. That's the reason you think that. and that's the reason that's the case, probably.
I suppose it is not. It's not elaborated on any more than any other ending. You were correct in that.
Yeah,
I would not accuse any of these endings of feeling like the real ending.
Yeah,
I think that's the big thing
guess.
that Lauren's going for, is that not whether or not that, like, oh, well, of course they're going to do the good ending because, you know, we got to maintain the status quo like it's an episode of a show, but rather, is it a plausible ending? Can I actually reasonably believe that this character would do these things? And that would make it a stronger ending.
I guess with this version of Shadow, the answer is always yes.
Some of them I find, like, you really switched at the last second. That's a little strange. But yeah.
Well, I mean, that is what it is, you know. Do we have anything specific to say about Black Doom's boss fight here? I don't.
I mean,
Is it basically the same boss fight?
Like I did before.
It's still a neat boss. It's not really that different.
All right.
Okay, yeah.
Then let's talk about the
I will
endings.
say,
Specifically, we have a regular hero ending, and you know, like we've talked about, it's pretty much what you would expect from playing the hero path, right? Shadow brings Black Doom to his knees, and Shadow proclaims himself the protector of the planet Maria loved, and it's like,
This is who I am. Yeah, good
This
job.
is who I am.
Alrighty.
That
It's
at
kinda
least
weird.
seems the most
Okay.
like the thing that the Shadow of the past two games would have done. You know?
Yeah.
That's what I meant when I said the real ending, I suppose.
But you have to remember, he kind of lost his memory,
I know.
and he's being fed lies by a lot of different, like, two top-tier gaslighters, Dr. Eggman and Black Doom, are totally on his case, and all the other characters are not
Completely
talking out
willfully
anything.
ignorant.
They're just pretending like nothing is wrong. Literally, the way they cope with the situation is to ignore it. They're the worst friends ever.
Jesus.
I think they all need therapy. They all need therapy.
Yeah.
They need
It's
to
like
work
something
on
out of the
their
Archie comics.
their strategy.
Jesus Christ.
Oh no!
You know how Sally is
It all
just
comes
constantly
back.
sad and has no support from her friends?
Oof.
Jesus Christ.
Get ready for more of that in a couple weeks.
Isn't there?
Yay.
Legit
Yeah.
hype, actually.
Can we talk about the alternative end that we could
Oh
have had
my
for
gosh,
this?
this one is.
Because
This
it's
is
really
hilarious.
funny.
This
Because
is
I
a
don't think
great
we have
one.
anything else to say about the OG good
Yeah.
one, right? It's
Well,
like I
it's
feel like we
just
have
the
to talk about the
standard,
dark
most,
end.
yeah.
Shadow randomly turns on Sonic and fights him and Diablon. Which, how did the Gun Commander get here? He was not here a second ago, but okay.
He came as extra backup. It kind of makes sense.
He would be here, certainly.
I thought
He
you were
is here
one
in
of
Black
us,
Comet, I suppose.
Shadow.
Yes, this is delicious. Why are you siding with the black creatures, Shadow? Siding with them? I'm just siding with whoever is against you. Literally, this ending
Jesus Christ.
is just Shadow is fed up with Sonic's super annoying demeanor, and it's
Now
like
that's the most believable ending.
yeah. Like,
Yeah.
actually, he's like, I'm just gonna turn on you because I hate you.
Well, and
Yep.
he
And he probably
he's
wouldn't
like,
kill him. He just beat him up real good. But like, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no
But yeah.
karate chop cut to black, so
True.
This should have been the one ending where
Rest in
Sonic
peace,
died, but
Eggman.
they just couldn't do it.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Shadow also declares that, like, I'm going to become the most powerful hedgehog in existence, which is really funny.
So this, yeah, well, it's funny, but actually, this isn't a super unbelievable ending. Like, it's certainly done worse. And like in the moment, it's like that's a very petty reason for betraying him. But is that really beneath Shadow? I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
No.
He enjoys
It's
eating candy
not,
from
yeah.
babies.
It's very
But-
Vegeta.
And
That's true.
secondly,
Exactly.
this is actually building, at the end it's revealed, this is building upon the little dynamic that Sonic and Shadow had in SA2, where Sonic is like, you fake hedgehog, faker, I think you're the fake hedgehog around here. And so he's finally proven that Sonic is the fake hedgehog, he's the real
Oh
hedgehog.
my god.
The escalation of the rivalry to maximum percent.
And yeah, and you're right too, Devin. How it's very Vegeta-esque of like, oh, he wants to be the best Saiyan. You know, he wants to.
It wants to be the
best hedgehog,
strongest
right?
hedgehog, yeah.
Well,
And it's like obviously there's a lot of differences between the two characters. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like there is that little bit of DNA in it of like wanting to be the superior.
They obviously thought about him when constructing the character. Yeah.
Oh, clearly.
Of course.
Not as much as they thought about Trunks when making Silver, but that's not till later. So,
I didn't know that.
A lot of people compare the modern writing of Shadow to Vegeta because he's very standoffish and he's kind of aggressive and he has a little bit of a pride streak going. And I think that's not totally correct. I think people overstate the amount of difference between modern Shadow and Adventure Era Shadow, but this does feel like it plays into that, because if you had Shadow beat up Sonic and then you added another boss where he beats up Black Doom anyway just to show that he can.
that would be perfect.
Oh, that even reminds me of that's like the Cell arc, where it's like, I could beat you right now, but I want to see you even more powerful. Yeah. It's like, I want to beat you just because anyway. Oh, man. We'll throw Diablon in there. Come at me.
It also goes way better with the ending theme for this route, because All Hail Shadow, a fucking banger, by the way.
Oh, I love All Hail Shadow.
It is not heroic in the slightest. It is about Shadow's supremacy.
And I love that.
It is not heroic, but it is very Shadow.
It is very Shadow, and I love it because of that.
That is one of the few songs to outlive this game for the character, so yeah.
Hasn't it kind of, at least for a short time, was Shadow's theme?
It is in 06, and they use it again in Generations, so yeah.
Nice. I enjoy that.
I'm gonna put myself in the sightlines. I'm risking my life here, but I don't really care for the song as much. It's okay. But I don't love it like Bruce did, though.
Or, you're entitled to your wrong opinion.
I like it.
Yeah, but
I'll back you up here.
I will say,
I don't think it's
really
incredible. I think it's fine. I mean, I'm not super.
It's serviceable. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the ending theme.
I think it's perfect for the character. I'm not impressed by it as a song, though.
Yeah, that's
what I
mean, okay, yeah, no, it's not like an incredible piece of music.
It's a fine song, but the lyrics are hilarious.
Yeah, no,
it
is a fun song. That's why I like it.
Yeah.
And I do think it fits Shadow perfectly, and it lets
again.
us on the political compass. It's great.
Oh no.
Oh my god. No, but
definitely fits.
I think it's not the worst one, right? Because it's like, well, I didn't mind Almost Dead. It's like I'd still rank that probably towards the bottom. It's like I do like Waking Up and Chosen One quite a bit, but All Hail Shadow's probably more towards the bottom of that list, just for me though. But yeah, it's all right.
And we did it. We did all 5 10-ish playthroughs of this game.
Hell yeah.
That's the whole game.
You know what?
Interesting game, right?
And
that's it. Thank God there's no more.
There's 10 endings to this game, and only the Hero one is canon, there's nothing else.
That's fair.
Wait a minute, I thought there was 300 endings, Devin. Hold on. What?
Oh, true.
I was getting 100%. I was...
Matt's been working on this for like a decade.
I forgot about...
But, yeah. Now that we're done with the game, I'd like to say that this last run was pretty alright.
Yeah. This is a decent enough run.
Other than Lost Impact, and without the Reloaded mod making Lethal Highway a pain in the ass, I think it's better than the True Dark run, which is a shame, because I think the True Dark run had the potential to be funnier.
This one had to be my least favorite. Sure. I cannot look past Lost Impact.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess...
I don't care what else was in this run. It had Lost Impact. This is the worst one.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, it's not great. And it's right before Final Haunt, too. So it's like... I guess you could, I don't know. I guess you could do, no, that would also be bad, because I was thinking, it's like, I guess you could hop up to Space Gadget and then do Final Haunt. I was like, Jesus. I don't like Space Gadget either. It's like,
Jesus Christ.
Oh, you know what? Actually, no, my bad. I'm getting that mixed up with Cosmic Fall, which is just actually bad. But Space Gadget's actually okay. You could actually
Space Gadget still kind of sucks.
It's not.
It doesn't suck as much as Cosmic Fall. You're right.
Yeah, and it's faster.
I mean, it does have the big pro of not being Lost Impact.
It's like a box that you have to check off.
Is Lost Impact the... Do you think it's the worst level to ever be set on the arc, including SA2?
I would
know.
How pretty bad, though.
How could
it's pretty bad.
Compete with?
No, nothing can compete with Crazy Gadget for me.
Okay. I would rather
I
play
forgot
Crazy
about
Gadget
Crazy Gadget.
than,
I was only thinking
I'd rather
about
play
the
Crazy
outdoor
Gadget
ones.
than Lost Ark.
Oh,
Or
And yeah,
Final Hunt,
Raised
that
by
one,
Jazz
yeah.
is not even that bad. Seriously,
No,
guys.
Lost Impact.
But
yeah, no, I'd rather play any of the SA2 arc levels than this bullshit, just because, like, the SA2 ones, they were hard, they frustrated me. This one just made me feel like I was wasting my time.
Yeah, those ones are over in a few minutes. That's the other part.
Yeah, well, but here's the thing. I found most of the stages in this game felt that way.
I'm gonna fire you into the sun from a cannon.
The Doom took me an hour. Over an hour. How could it be worth?
Not even Mad Space. Not even Mad Space.
Realistically, I really don't think there are the stage length. I don't think, to me at least, it would be taken into consideration about the quality of a stage. Really? Most of them took me like at least 10 minutes.
I don't know.
The longer the stage is, it's like whatever. It's I mean, fucking the game's still. It's one of the games.
All right. Well, that's the fun thing about this show. We don't have to agree on everything. You know, you can.
We do have to agree on everything.
Well, then we've screwed up several times before now, haven't we?
Yeah, I know.
We have.
Man, God, we have
I
to
didn't realize I was supposed to agree with anyone
have
ever.
To re-record.
Yeah.
All right, but that's the hero playthrough. We did it. We're done. It could have been a lot better, and it could have been worse in some ways, but it is what it is. But the truth is, there is actually a 327th ending to this game that is completely different than all these.
Really?
Really?
Oh my gosh! Campaign.
Holy shit!
Called the Last Story, and that is gonna be next time on Deep Dive Zone. But for right now, we're done. So, thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, please feel free to share, comment, like, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, criticism, or feedback, you can find us at the link tree in the description. I said it right that time. I screwed up last week, but that's okay because we're done. So I hope you all have a great week. We'll see you next Sunday. I hope you have a great night, and take care.